Well, I should be live in a few seconds anyway. New mic arrived, so I'm gonna try my hand at doing another cast live. I mean, this one's a bit different because there's not actually a game going on right now. So normally I would just record these VODs on my own time and not put them on stream, but because you guys definitely seem to appreciate my casting last time, I figured, may as well do this live and see how it goes. Also makes it easier. I don't have to store stuff on my computer and take up more hard drive space. Hopefully the new mic sounds good. I did some mic checks earlier. It sounded good then. OBS seems to be registering it right too, so fingers crossed that this goes well in terms of the mic quality. And yeah, hopefully I can give you guys another good cast. Today's match that I'm going to be looking at is going to be in INTZ versus Faze. Right now I'm going to do map 1. Depending on how long it takes and how much time I've got left, because I did start this a lot later than I wanted to, I might do map 2 now, or I might do map 2 at a later point, because both of these games are pretty long. I have not watched them myself, so I don't know what happens in them. I do know the winner, but I don't know the individual score lines. So yeah, as far as some context on this game, to the best of my knowledge, going into this day, Faze were in second place, and INTZ were in third place. INTZ has been having a much better season in BR6, as opposed to in Pro League, where they continue to be fighting in this relegation spot, although they have begun climbing their way safe from there. Faze, on the other hand, having a better season, also on BR6, compared to Pro League, but Faze has definitely pulled it back in Pro League as they now sit in second place. And it's going to be coming down to week 14 whether or not Faze makes it in, depending on if they can beat Immortals. Assuming, of course, NIP is able to keep pace and beat Liquid in the process. Otherwise, if NIP loses out and Immortals keeps their pace, Faze will go to LAN, regardless of that game. It really comes down to NIP is going to be Faze's greatest concern going into that game against Immortals in week 14, but that's Pro League. As far as BR6 goes, Faze did start this day in second place, to the best of my knowledge. But of course, I am not 100% on that. I'm trying to work back with some stuff I saw on Wikipedia. So, without further ado, let's just get right in, I guess. In case you weren't around in the previous stream and are wondering why I have it muted, just as a heads up, I don't have access to a clean feed, obviously. This game has only been casted in Portuguese, so that's why I've been trying to cast some of these in English and just, I guess, provide more competitive games to a wider audience, because I think we all want to see more Siege at the highest level. And no, this is not going to be a VOD review style if people are expecting that. I do not have the analytical mind for this. This is going to be a straight cast. Anyhow, let's get right into it. Might be skipping along until we get to the game. Alright, op ban Faze. So, Faze isn't going to be too surprising, I don't think. This first map is Oregon, by the way, which will serve to be a good map for both these teams. Oregon is something that Latin America really enjoys, and we've seen Faze have a lot of success on an international scale. Faze's bans, though, are likely going to be Hib and Echo. No, they're actually going to ban out the Nomad. That's interesting. Faze typically sticks to just banning Hibana and Echo every time. So to see a Nomad ban from them, it makes a lot of sense considering the map of Oregon. INTZ's ban of Capitao is much more of a niche ban, but Capitao has a lot of use on attacking the tower, on attacking the top floor, even on basement attacks. Faze has pulled out two very interesting bans for them, not electing to ban either the Echo or the Hibana that they're so notorious for banning. So they're going to ban the Nomad, that's going to allow them to more safely rotate around the map, and the Pulse, which is going to deny INTZ a lot of intel on the lower site, as well as should they try and go for C4s on the upper site. But nevertheless, very interesting bans coming out from Faze compared to what they normally do. The Meister ban by INTZ, nothing surprising there. This is going to leave Echo on the table, as well as Mira and all the hard breachers. which will open up Faze's ability to do a lot of different attacks based on the fact that they will have both the Thermite and the Hibana, as well as the Mav, causing stuff like the hatches and the walls they want to take down on Oregon not to be much of a difficulty. The Thatcher, of course, will prevent the mute play on that hatch or a Kaed if he ever came out in this matchup. So we're likely to see most of the setups from INTZ get their hard walls taken care of pretty damn quickly for an Oregon matchup, where you usually see, if not one of the hard breaches banned out, you'll see something like Thatcher get banned out to allow for more mute or bandit play. But that will not be the case here. INTZ electing to go up onto the top 4 first. Most teams we also see go on Laundry, but both these sites are pretty equally viable. INTZ likely reading that with all of the hard breaches available to Faze, that Laundry hold is going to become a lot more difficult since the hatch can be taken out very, very quickly. And not just the main hatch in the lobby, but every hatch in meeting and beyond should Faze choose to attack that way. So instead, INTZ will go up top, where really the major wall you have to worry about getting opened is the wall into Generator. And as long as they can play around that, they're not too concerned. Valkyrie, of course, being brought out by INTZ, very, very common in LATAM in general, but especially on Oregon. We've seen teams like NIP on Psycho use it to great avail, throwing out these external cams and doing a lot of runouts and otherwise risky peeks to get early picks. Faze is going to start droning and go for a tower take, but Duds will get the first kill of the match onto Ion, shutting down the Thatcher, and that's going to actually allow Attic and Generator to be a lot safer depending on how the mute set up his jammers. Without a buck on the board for Faze either, they'll have to get the Mav real close to open things up, or send the IQ down below and hope she could shoot through the floor. A missed drone, unfortunately coming out from Yuna, will mean that Duds will get even a little bit more time up here in Tier 3. The Jaeger investing a lot of presence in holding this tower. He will get stunned, but it doesn't look like any push is coming in just quite yet. Yuna might be spawning out the feats. He knows the Jaeger's position. Meanwhile, Astra has been tagged up a little bit, as half the round has elapsed. It looks like Astra might have been tagged up from that armory hallway window, as it seems a peek came out there while they're pushing this tower. And Duds has survived an extraordinarily long time up in Tier 3. A minute 14 down. But Yuna will land the shots, but not before Duds is able to take out Cameraman. So the Jaeger, getting 2 kills and wasting 2 minutes up top in Tier 3, will have proved instrumental on this roam and done a lot for Ints. In addition, they've taken out the Maverick, meaning that Generator wall, if it has been mute jammered, is going to be extraordinarily difficult to remove, especially with 3 members of INTZ to contest any IQ sent down. However, 3 members all off-site, or no, sorry, just 2 members, the Mute and the Valkyrie. So not as bad. They have 2 members up top, likely holding top of white and inside of the dorms. But does Mav know about the location of this Mute who is inside of Classroom? It does not appear he does. Should the Mute choose to peek at any time, he can get the kill, and he will. Boar will take down Mav, increasing the man count even further in INTZ's favor. Pings will come out on the last 2 attackers, and it's all up to Astra in a 1v4 situation, 16 seconds on the clock, and he will not be able to get one as Intact picks up the final 2 kills of the round. INTZ will go up round 1 on Oregon. So impressive play by the Jaeger up top in Tier 3 will be largely responsible for the outcome of that round. Faze definitely wanted that early tower control, and they completely failed to acquire it, losing 2 bodies and having to expend a lot of utility and time to clear out a Jaeger who was never cleared. By the time Faze was able to attack the site, they had already taken a ton of damage. Mav, not realizing that Boar was down in the Classroom, would also have lost his life, and the rest of them had to do a single-minded push through Armory side that led to nothing, as there was an eager and hungry Smoke waiting for them at the end of the hallway. INTZ will now go down to the basement site. bringing out the Echo they did not run previously. This will replace the Mute. It looks like they're not going to invest anything in trying to stall out the hatch, and for good reason. You know that at least Ion or Mav are going to be on either Maverick or Thatcher. And especially when Thatcher is left unbanned, dealing with that Mute Jammer on the hatch is as simple as just chucking out an EMP into lobby. As a result, they're going to invest their resources and their utility elsewhere. It looks like Drunks is going to be set up to hold meeting from tower, or potentially just hold tower proper. We see a lot of Echoes and other ACOG operators set up in the top, on the first floor of tower at the top of those stairs in order to view down meeting. Intact will take some damage from what might have been a missed impact. I'm not entirely sure, as it was a really early piece of damage. Nevertheless, it's going to set him down approximately 1 bullet's worth, which will be to Faze's advantage, especially on an operator as vital as the Smoke. Faze electing to bring the Ying this time to clear out tier 3 as quickly as they can. Duds will get blinded as he goes for the runout, giving Yuna a free kill. And tower control is in Faze's hands immediately this round. Cameraman will pick up another onto Intact, that's the Smoke off of the boards, and INTZ is left down to 3 operators, and just in 30 seconds to start off the round. An explosive start from Faze, thanks to swapping onto the Ying. It's going to be up to the remaining anchor play of the Echo, who is actually still in tower. He spots one player and is able to get the kill onto Ion, but he'll take some damage and be traded out by Cameraman shortly after. Astro will land another kill onto Boar, leaving Yuke in a 1v4 situation, much like Astro found himself in the first round, and much like Astro, he will not find another kill as Mav picks up the last kill of the round. Faze will draw it up on their second attack. Much like the first round, this round came down to just tower control. And unlike the first round, Faze acquired all the control they wanted, got 2 picks themselves this time, and did it in about 30 seconds thanks to swapping onto that Ying. We'll see if INTZ elects to invest more in the tower to potentially shut down that kind of control, or if they choose to forfeit the tower and focus more potentially on the meeting side of their hold downstairs. It's unlikely to see them swap up sites entirely, and indeed they will go back downstairs, running the dock this time instead of the Echo. Normally a questionable decision, considering the sheer amount of utility you give up by switching off of the Echo onto the dock. However, with the way Drunks was playing the Echo, you might have been better off with the dock anyway, able to take multiple engagements and not be giving up nearly as much utility for his team by his death. So we'll see if he has any better luck on the dock, should they elect to run him inside of tower again. They have begun fortifying up in connector and fortified some of meetings, so it looks like they are focused on holding in that general area, and Duds will be set up inside of tier 3 again. The Jaeger hoping to get a better pick, and Yuke getting a huge pick of the round on a peek onto the Ying. That's going to spell disaster for Faze's tower clear, as it was pivoting around the addition of that Ying. Mav has swapped on to the Jackal instead of the Sledge, so he can bring smokes and other utility to potentially clear out once they attack the site. But pushing out this Jaeger is going to prove extremely difficult. Drunks has come to support him from small tower, holding a long angle with the ACOG, but he has been spotted out by Ion. Should he be able to land this shot, he'll be able to equalize things for Faze Clan, bringing things back to a 4v4. He's worried about 2 different runouts, though, and it's going to be a matter of which one he checks. Astro will take out Drunks, but Duds will get another kill onto Yuna. That's the hard breach down. INTZ looking in a great position to close out this round as well, as once again Faze's tower clear has completely stalled out due to using their Ying so early on. Astro's going to start pushing in from garage side, likely calling for a rotate of some sort to just start attacking more of the site and clearing the rest of the map, forfeiting tower to the Jaeger, who they know they no longer have the utility to clear out. And indeed, Ion and Astra will start working their way down into the site. Smoke will be able to spot them out on his Mira, so their positions are compromised, as another EMP will ring out to take care of any utility. Plant's going to be going down, but a gas canister is going to force Astra off of the plant, and he's going to eat a lot of damage in the process. INTZ, having full control of this Mira window setup, will be able to deny this plant for quite a while, as his second gas canister will force Ion out of position, who will actually be downed by a spray from the SMG-11. Duds, meanwhile, is on the flank, potentially ready to push down the laundry stairs, but he might be spotted out. No, he'll actually spot out Mav taking down the Jackal. Duds' position is compromised, but it's a 2v4 for Faze Clan, as Duds will get 2 more for the round. Duds, with an impressive 4k, realizing that no longer was tower being contested and getting called in for an excellent flank, shutting down Faze's attempted rotate. Tactical timeout looks like it's going to be called for Faze Clan, as they need to readjust how they want to attack this tower side. I'm going to go ahead and skip through this tac timeout so we can continue getting more of the action. Duds, with an impressive 6 kills through 3 rounds, has definitely been making his mark, as both rounds were won on large part due to his efforts up inside of Tier 3. Now, INTZ gets to go back to the top floor, where they found such success, and Faze is really going to have to figure out a way to clear out the top of Tier 3. To this end, it looks like they've brought a lot more utility for clearing out a potential Jaeger, so they don't have to worry about Cameraman just dying early on. They have the nades from Mav on the Buck, who can also open up a lot of the Tier 3 floor. An excellent Valcam will spot out the position of Ion, though, which could make for a quick run out from Yuk. No, he's actually going to rotate away, choosing not to contest that. Astra on the Zofia is also going to be helpful in clearing out Tier 3, as those concussions can definitely burn out the ADSs or even potentially harm and stun the Jaeger playing up top. I don't actually think he has any ADSs to protect him. An interesting decision from INTZ. I wonder if Duds has had any ADS to start this entire round. If he hasn't, even more props to him for holding down Tier 3 with absolutely no support in the form of utility. However, it looks like Faze is electing just to simply ignore tower, pushing from the bathroom sides for a white stairs take. They're going to have to clear out kitchen, where 2 defenders of INTZ are set up, Yuk and Boar. As about half the round has elapsed so far, Faze has started their ingress, but they haven't quite acquired much ground, taking control of dining and bathroom. But the Ying of Cameraman is actually set up on Tier 2. Doesn't look like Duds is necessarily aware of this. The Ying could get a pick on any rotates through tower, including the Jaeger potentially being called back onto site. And actually, Duds has fallen off of Tier 3 at some point. He's all the way down on Tier 1. And Cameraman's just going to be waiting for his potential flank and shut him down when the Jaeger is forced to rotate. That's going to be coming down to just a straight gunfight between the two, where Cameraman holds all the advantage. Astro does know the position of one player, the mute of Boar, after throwing out all of his lifeline utility, partially to clear out the Bard, but also the stuns alerting to the proximate locations of nearby defenders. And Duds has actually managed to make his way back into Tier 2. It looks like Cameraman gave up the position, and Duds will be able to collect a kill onto him as a result. An unfortunate call bringing the Ying out of tower and calling for her to join the push has also led to Cameraman's death. Duds will now have added control, as Yuk will get a kill onto Astra. That is the Zofia off the board. Generator wall has been opened by Yuna, but Faze is in a 3v5 situation with 14 seconds left. Mav won't be able to collect any kills as he sprays down to windows, while Drunks will take down Yuna. Ion will collect the first kill for Faze onto Yuk, but Faze will be left all up to Mav in a 1v4. He will not collect anything, as Intact will be there to shut him down. INTZ will go up 3-1, winning out the top floor handedly once more. Faze again stalling out on a lot of these pushes as they just don't seem to know how to clear Duds out of his positioning in tower, regardless of where the Jaeger plays. The Ying of Cameraman had a potential to completely shut down his push, but it looks like Cameraman had been called away to join the rest of his team. As a result, he was gunned down on his rotate, and Duds was allowed to completely move out of tower. Faze keeps failing to clear in the beginning and then executing without having a substantial amount of map control, and it's really been hurting them in a number of these rounds. While most of them come down to being unable to clear tower, even on that last round, they elected to just change up their push, not worry so much about tower control, but they still never really gained the control of white stairs they needed in order to allow Yuna to make his push. By not clearing out kitchen or bathroom, the two roamers of INTZ were both able to pick up multiple kills, and Faze just stalled out and died. However, now they will be attacking tower. The part of the map they've had so much difficulty clearing out throughout this matchup will become the site proper. And we'll see if Faze has any better luck clearing it now that this is all they have to worry about should they choose to go for a straight site execute. Mirror windows set up in bathroom, and the sheer amount of expansion of the site all the way to the rest of the upstairs is going to prove for an interesting setup from INTZ. Drunks is going to be swapped onto the Clash role, helping the Jaeger hold tier 3, it appears. Faze has dropped the nades that were available on the Buck, as well as dropping the Zofia, so they'll have a little bit less utility to clear out the Jaeger, but they will be sticking Cameraman on the Ying. INTZ has really expanded into almost all of the map. There's expansion into kitchen, there's expansion into the top floor, and there's an expansion into meeting. Should Faze be able to read this and individually isolate every single one of these roamers and start picking them off one by one, and they'll start by lighting up the Valk, but she will be able to escape with her life, Astra not landing just enough shots. But should Yuke lose his life here, that'll give Faze a good advantage. The entirety of that top floor roam will have been lost. Intact brought down to very low health as well. INTZ playing a risky game with how much map control they're trying to exert. And Faze reading into this, trying to clear out these roamers one by one. And Yuke is the first casualty as Cameraman gets his first kill using just one Candela. First kill of the round. This puts Faze at a man advantage for the first time since round number 2, the only round they managed to win. Mav's going to be spotting out the Mira's footsteps as she was forced to rotate back downstairs to get to tower. And the Drunks will be left alone on this meeting side hold. Astra landing a long shot onto the Smoke, who appeared to be peeking some windows a bit haphazardly on such low health. Only 50 seconds left for Faze, but they're in an excellent position to start this execute. Cameraman will now be focusing on clearing out the Jaeger, as any EMP will try to clear out any ADSs that might potentially be there. Ion getting the kills on Duds instead, as Candela's rain out and tier 3 control is in Faze's favor. Pings are coming out on another defender, so Cameraman is able to pick up an easy kill, not able to land the shots exactly on the downed opponent, but this round is as good as over, as Mav will take down the Clash, and Faze will start to claw their way back in this fight, bringing things to a 3-2. One more round left in the half, as Faze is going to attempt to tie things up. INTZ, on the other hand, hoping they can end this half 4-2 and only have to take 3 more attacks on Oregon, something I'm sure they're very comfortable being able to do. So a bit of a haphazard roam from INTZ. It made sense that they had isolated out a lot of the map that they found important, but to some degree they needed to begin cutting back on their investments. every single player was essentially left in charge of one section of the map, which Faze correctly read into, so every one of those players was put into a 1v2 or a 1v3. Even if they pulled off some heroic plays, got maybe one pick before they died, they were still likely to die, forfeit all of the utility and map control they had invested off-site, and ultimately when the attackers would have to push, even assuming the roamers were able to get a number of picks, there wouldn't be a lot of utility to help them out on site because of the sheer investment elsewhere. Nevertheless, INTZ will get to go back downstairs for their final defense. They won this site pretty handedly the first time they played it. In large part, again, thanks to Duds' ability to just hold tier 3. INTZ will actually be setting up on tier 2 with him. We'll see if that's just for early round setup with the shotgun or if he's actually going to hold up there. A unique place to play your smoke. However, I think part of the reason why LATAM is so comfortable playing their smoke so aggressively, especially on Oregon, is because LATAM actually bans out smoke on Oregon a lot. This means that they're very comfortable holding that site, especially on the basement, without their smoke in play because they have to scrim and practice without one just to remain competitive in the region on their defenses. This opens up the kit of smoke to being used a bit more versatile, a bit more loosely when he's actually available. Roaming with that shotgun SMG-11 combo, much as a Mute would do, which is actually where we'll see Drunk set up now on tier 2, as they might have recalled their smoke. Default camera is still in position, so Yuna is completely compromised. This could be disastrous if a player from INTZ is anywhere nearby, but it doesn't look like anyone is. Faze just forgetting about the default camera for some reason, and indeed INTZ will actually be called back to the mirror window, so no crazy roams a la WAG that we'll be seeing today, but nevertheless, a very powerful operator to have, especially on the site. Duds getting the call to rotate out of tier 3, as it doesn't look like Faze is investing any resources in clearing this time around. Probably the wiser call, as they've just lost utility and resources every time they went for a tower clear. They're going to push straight from this hatch with at least 4 players stacked up on this push. A lot of drones possibly all jammed in that location. Faze deciding that that flank was the most important one to watch. But only 40 seconds on the row, and a lot of denials still available on the side of INTZ. Drunks, Boar, and Yuke will all have nitro cells for when INTZ runs out of smokes. They're going to have to dislodge players from this mirror window, and a nade is being prepped for that very purpose. Flashbangs will flash Mav, though, and it doesn't look like that nade was able to connect with anything. Second one will be thrown out, and this one will pick up Yuke. That's one of the nitro cells off the board, but only 18 seconds left, as Drunks will get a kill onto Astro. Mav will trade back onto Duds, and INTZ will get Yuna with his gas. One more smoke canister left, 8 seconds left in the round. This is going to be extremely difficult for Faze. Ion will take down Drunks, and Cameraman will be able to take out Boar. INTZ left in a 1v2 will impact one of the players and win out the round. An impressive clutch from INTZ. Playing on the mirror window and unable to be dislodged, giving INTZ a 4-2 split on the half. INTZ probably feeling very, very happy about his performance that round. Getting at least a 3k there as he guns down Cameraman when he attempts to clear from the back in the dying seconds of the round. His impact grenade killing another player trying to go for the plant, and a gas canister kill also all coming in. Left the last player Faze with absolutely no time to do anything. Faze will now have to mentally reset, knowing that they've lost the half, but they will be going on to defensive Oregon, something they've proven themselves to be very, very comfortable in. Remember, Faze pulled back the 7 rounds in a row, I believe, against Mocket in Sao Paulo when they were at the Pro League Finals. The Faze having a deficit on Oregon is nothing new to the LATAM Titans. The newer roster of Faze has definitely proven themselves not as emotional or tilt prone as the older rosters of Faze used to be. And these sorts of clutch situations are something they find very, very confident. They're also very aware that the Oregon was INTZ's map pick, and INTZ definitely brought a lot of strats that threw Faze off. Part of that were their unique holds, some of which did not work out, like the tower hold. But a lot of that came down to just having players very comfortable in the positions they were assigned. Whether that's a mix of their other teammates feeding them intel, the proper usage of utility, or just scrimming players in those positions. Players like Duds were just allowed to live freely at the top of Tier 3, intact, seeming so comfortable on that mirror window as well. They're not exactly crazy positions to play. They're very, very common for those operators. But you don't always see individuals performing so well on those roles. And that's really what gave INTZ the edge on their defensive half. Now they're going to have to show if they have that same level of comfort attacking Oregon if they want to get the win here against Faze. Faze electing to put Yuna inside of Tier 2 as they have a heavy meeting hold presence with 2 players playing meeting hold properly and Yuna playing this long angle I was talking about earlier from the top of the stairs all the way down to the meeting hall doors. But a rotate will be called from Faze after they get the first pick of the round onto Duds, and Ion playing a very, very aggressive smoke position. Mav deciding to throw out a C4 for no reason, as INTZ now is left with about half the round. They are down the IQ, so these Echo drones are going to prove to be an extreme nuisance, as well as any Valk camps still around. Astra will be taking out some of the drones left on site, so INTZ is going to find themselves very starved for intel, especially in comparison to Faze, who seem to have all the intel in the world here, with the Valk, the mirror window, and the Echo in play. Last 50 seconds coming in. Plenty of denial still on the board for Faze. The Yokai drones, the nitro cells, and the gas canisters will all prove detrimental. Candela is going to ring out, which will blind Drunks as he throws in a nade. It won't connect with anything, unfortunately, for INTZ. And as plant starts to go down by Boar. Another Candela rings out, and it doesn't seem like the players are able to stop the plant. And indeed, the plant will go down. Astra will get a pick onto Boar, putting things into a 3v5. Mav getting another one, making things a 5v2 for Faze. Drunks and Intact left on the final hold, as Yuna will begin droning in the rest of his roamers. Drunks will push up and down the Mira as he continues to hold this meeting, but Astro is sticking the disable. Are the players of INTZ aware, as Drunks is just focused on meeting, and defuse will happen? INTZ with poor plant coverage as Astro just sneaks his way in and starts disabling while Drunks is focused on the meeting hall flanks. Unsure what Intact was doing there as the Thatcher, as it was his job to hold and deny a potential disable attempt from Astro. As NA would say, Renton, you need to drop. Nevertheless, a crucial round for Faze if they want to stay in this match, taking the first on the second half. That'll bring them to a 4-3, putting them one round back of INTZ, a round they can very easily make up as they get to go upstairs now. Ultimately, poor time management and the early pick on the IQ were what cost INTZ a lot of that round, but nevertheless, they were still able to sneak the plant in and put themselves in a good position. Drunks getting 2 important kills on meeting, don't get me wrong, despite ultimately being impactless on the round, was able to hold his half of the map well. But Intact, either from poor drone coverage or just poor awareness, was not able to deny Astro. And that's ultimately what cost INTZ. They lost a lot of drones, as we saw also on site. They were starved for intel when they went for that final execute. Faze is going to be feeling very happy about that round, though, as they likely felt a little worried once Plant went down, despite all of the denial on their side. And none of it came out until the very end of the round, or basically when Plant was completed. A gas canister rang out from the smoke, doing next to nothing other than a little bit of damage, but not much more. Faze is going to set up Yuna on this armory side hold. Going to be in charge of holding down this hallway, as well as preventing players like Drunks from being able to just push up through connector. Drunks' drone will get shot out, so he won't have as much intel as he wants, but he will see a peek hole. Duds, meanwhile, will get a kill onto Ion. That's the smoke off the board for Faze. A very, very strong pick for INTZ to start the round. And just poor positioning from Ion, giving away his life so early on with an operator like Smoke. And I don't even believe he was playing in an extremely aggressive position. No, he was inside of Kid's bedroom, so poor awareness and positioning on the side of Ion will cost Faze their most vital anchor. They do still have cameraman on the Mira, and they likely have Astro or Mav positioned over to top of White Stairs. Drunks is going to be working on finding a way to clear out this armory player, as he will actually instead just be called to start pushing Kid's bedroom. They've realized after taking down the smoke, they have a lot of the control they'd want to go for a Kid's side take from these windows. The north windows. Oh, sorry, the north windows. Or getting another impressive kill onto Astro will decapitate the Jaeger from the top of tower. So INTZ looking in a good position to lock out this round with 50 seconds left for their execute. Plant will be going down by the side of Yuke, and it doesn't look like, again, Faze is aware, but C4 will go out, but in the wrong position. Plant will go down as Intact will get another kill onto Yuna. Mav trades off one onto Yuke, but gets downed himself, putting Cameraman in a 1v4 situation. They found themselves here before and haven't had any success, but Cameraman with a good kill onto Duds to start off the round, as he now starts the top 4 retake. A very, very difficult call. But Mav will get picked up, putting themselves in a 2v3, with about half the diffuser's time gone. Missed shots from Drunks, but Boar will get the kill as Cameraman once again finds himself in a 1v3. He jumps out the window and doesn't even get the kill onto Drunks. An impactless frag either way, as likely the Mira wouldn't have had time to rotate back to site. And INTZ will go up 5-3. Faze on the back foot here, as they now have to win 3 rounds in a row just to have a hope of winning out this map. And an important win for them if they wanted to overtake Liquid in the standings. They're going to want all 3 points here. The early death of Ion ultimately left the windows open, and once again Faze, despite running so much intel, doesn't seem to ever be aware of the plants actually going down. That's 2 rounds in a row where Intact was able to just INTZ, not just Intact, but INTZ as a whole, were able to just get plants off without the members of Faze being aware at all. And we saw there wasn't even intel necessarily on the site, as that C4 was nowhere near where the planter was planting. They were completely starved for information. Which, when you're bringing as much plant denial as Faze is running, you need to at least be able to play around intel as well to actually capitalize on the plant denial you have. All those C4 and gas canisters are useless if they're not being used to actually deny pushes and plants. Granted, they lost Ion early on, and it was the Smoke's job to hold those windows. But after his death, there still should have been some sort of rotate called from Faze, so that a plant like that couldn't be snuck in by Yuke. Nevertheless, Faze will now reattempt this top 4 hold. Not really changing up any of their lineup, Astro will be put into tier 3 this time. He has 2 ADSs to work with him, and he's going to be trying to replicate some of the magic that Duds showed himself so competent in up top here. Jackal pings will come out, so his position is completely compromised as 3 of the attackers all stack up to clear him out of his position. ADSs are still intact, so nades won't be in his favor, but shots will ring out and Astro will get himself downed and killed as he doesn't realize that drop is going to actually kill him. He'll deny the kill to INTZ to further their scoreboard, but an early pick again is not going to be good for Faze, as Ion, once again, being extremely aggressive on these windows. He's going to take down Intact's health quite significantly, but this is how he lost his life earlier, and Faze does not want to be in a 3v5 this early in the round if they want to keep this match from getting to match point, or this map, sorry, from getting to map point. Tower control firmly in the favor of INTZ, as Astro had nowhere near the success of his counterpart. It's going to allow INTZ to begin their ingress from this attic side. Yuna, preying aggressively on the lobby door, could potentially get a kill here if he spots out the player, and he's going to land shots, but not enough, as Duds getting a nice headshot onto Yuna, the castle, just missing a bit too many shots. Duds will get downed as cameraman does an aggressive run up, but he's unable to confirm the kill. If Duds is able to get picked back up, this could prove disastrous for the members of Faze, as they really need to bring this man count a little bit more in their favor. Cameraman playing extremely aggressive now, as he knows he needs to make something happen to salvage this 3v5. The one boon for Faze's side is that 2 of the members of INTZ are extremely low on health, and a gas canister or even the general radius of a C4 could shut them down pretty handedly and bring things back to a 3v3. But having to deal with 5 attackers as only 3 people is always going to be difficult. Especially when it looks like most of the players of Faze have really just forfeited the site. You have Ion playing on this window, and he's going to land a nice shot onto Intact. That's going to finish off the Thatcher, and he's going to land another onto Yuke, bringing things into a 3v3. Boar will get one onto Cameraman, but Mav will trade onto Duds, keeping things in a 2v2. Drunks landing another kill on Ion will leave Mav in a 1v2 clutch situation, but there is no time available to the attackers. If he knows where this plane is going down, and actually one player is going to be down already, putting things in a 1v1. He just needs to land this kill onto the Jackal, and pings will ring out. He knows the Jackal's position. He's going to set the C4 and potentially throw it out here for a free kill, and indeed he'll land it. Mav clutching out the round as he now gets to go for the disable. A good series of individual plays from the side of Faze will save a round they really should never have won. Intact landing 2 pivotal kills on his solo hold of the top floor, bought just enough time and took off just enough members of INTZ so the 2 remaining players of Faze could make their rotates up, which was actually more the 1 remaining player of Faze, as the Mira of Cameraman got gunned down while Intact was making his heroic last stand. Tactical timeout coming out from INTZ, though, as they're going to want to have to reassess. This match, which was pretty heavily in their favor, is now slipping out of their control, and a round like that is a round that could potentially cost them, at the very least, the tie. So they need to now reassess, figure out their new approach when they have to attack top floor again, should that situation come up, and indeed, it might, depending on how Faze plays. Yuke is going to be called to swap onto the Blitz as they now go for this Laundry attack. Now remember, last time they attacked Laundry, INTZ didn't have a lot of success in the clear. Didn't seem to have much success in the execute either, as members continued to just be picked off. But they still got the plant down and snuck it through. Unfortunately, a lot of them were killed in the post-plant scenario, and then Astro snuck in an impressive defuse. So INTZ knows that luck is likely not going to be on their side again. Their odds of sneaking in such a plant are slim, to say the least. They're going to have to really focus on their roam clear, and that's why the blitz has been brought out. They want to clear out these roamers playing in the tower and meeting side, and they're hoping that should they be able to get some picks or at least force these roamers away, and indeed we're going to be seeing the blitz and the jackal work together to push in from this bathroom side. But they're hoping if they can get these early picks, they can likely push their way through into the rest of site and have to deal with a lot less denial and just guns on the side of Faze when the execute comes down. Ion, playing inside of blue, is hoping to shut down any early pushes. That shotgun SMG-11 combo can be a real powerhouse on holding such a close quarters side of the map. In addition, he'll be more than able to rotate right back to the rest of the site to get onto the mirror window, but Yuke is just able to push right in. He spots out two players. He's going to try and land a shot onto one, but does not pull anything off as Ion shuts down the blitz before he can have any success, and Mav will get another kill into Drunks. The gas canister won't go out, but it doesn't matter as Mav gets another kill, and Astro pushes up aggressively, but not getting any kills as his teammates are just gunning people before you can see them. Cameraman, taken down intact, will leave Duds in a 1v4 as he seeks to keep this round from swinging out of control. They do not want INTZ or Faze to get up 5-5 and start to pull off the comeback. The nade will not connect with anything, but it will force Astro to aggress onto Duds, and Duds will win out that engagement as he now continues to push his way down. Time is on his side, but nothing else, as even the hatch wasn't opened up before the blitz started on his rush. An aggressive gamble of a play will put INTZ on a back foot as the time continues to tick away. Nitrocell and 3 gas canisters still on the side of Faze. There's not much hope for Duds here unless the members of Faze get a bit too aggressive and greedy, and they're not that kind of team. They're just going to calmly hold their angles. The mirror window gives them all the intel they need. They're not even going to peek the mirror window until Duds is forced to go for some sort of plant. Ion knows exactly his position, but no point of attacking a pre-firing sledge until he turns his aim away, and then Ion will pounce, get the last kill of the round, and Faze will finally tie things up 5-5, as this match will go the distance. This next round will be pivotal for the standings of both their teams, as it will determine the maximum number of points either team can get. Faze, once again, looking to overtake Liquid's position, while INTZ, sitting in third currently, is going to want to increase the gap between them and Black Dragons, as well as NIP. I'm not sure if they can get enough points to overtake Faze in second place, but a match against your second place, against the team directly above you in the standings, is a great way of halting your opponent's momentum. Tower side hold from Faze will be a great opportunity now, though, for INTZ to bring this map to match point and secure themselves the potential of winning the round, as well as deny Faze the ability to get all 3 points in this matchup. A Finka being brought out from INTZ, as well as a Twitch, shows that they're well aware that they're attacking tower now. They're not so worried about getting the rest of the map controlled. They're not worried about having to hard breach into anything. They're not even going to bring smokes because they're not worried about covering for the plant, as the Jackal will no longer be in play. Instead, INTZ is going to elect for the operators that can allow them the most versatility and ability to clear out some of the utility of Faze, and then just go into the site and hopefully gun them all down. The Finka in particular are heavily enabling their push. Of course, the smoke could spell disaster with a well-timed gas canister on a Finka-boosted ally. So we'll see how this works out. Mav, electing to run the Frost, could also spell disaster, as that could make a lot of those window vaults on tower much more difficult, as they'll have to clear out those frost mats before they have any hope of pushing in. Drunks' Twitch drone will be taken out. He'll give some intel to his team as a result, as the first minute of the round ticks away. INTZ doesn't seem to have their exact point of ingress figured out, but spawning out that Valcam will be important, as that will hopefully shut down some of the runouts from Faze if you're INTZ, as they know Astro on this Valk is likely to get aggressive the more intel you feed him, especially on a site like Tower, where jump outs and runouts are extremely common. It looks like they have Ion playing up top to try and deny some of these pushes, and Astro getting a free kill onto Boar as he's just not paying attention to the open windows of Tower as he attempts to push it to Garage, and things are looking great for Faze as Astro runs out and gets another kill, tries to go for a third, but Intact will be there to shut him down. Cameraman will land another kill onto Uke, putting Duds and Intact in a 2v4 situation, make that a 1v4 as Ion will land another kill onto Intact, and it's all up to Duds to salvage this round. If he wants to keep his team in this match, he won't get anything as Mav will run out and gun him down with Frost. And that's Faze up 6-5, their first lead of the match. And their chance to win out this map outright in a 7-5 scoreline. 3 points no longer on the table for INTZ. Good coordination and plays from the side of Faze as they consistently had multiple teammates ready to work on the intel that they were providing one another. We saw there as one player went out for the peak, we had a couple jump outs and ready peaks from the other players in order to guarantee that the trade would happen should that first run out not succeed. Ultimately splitting the focus of INTZ, and they weren't able to even ingress into the tower itself. Or any of the map, for that matter, as Boar got himself gunned down trying to push into Garage. Faze will now go upstairs. They've won this site once, and they've lost this site once. And INTZ is going to be hoping to at least bring things into a draw so they can hope for 2 points at most. Faze, looking to collect all 3 to overtake Liquid, though, is not going to make that easy for the side of INTZ. No real lineup changes on the side of Faze. They're electing once again to bring their same strategy and setup. Astro playing inside a tower, but it doesn't look like he's gone all the way up to tier 3 this time. And indeed, he's just going to start falling back from tower. And actually, he's going to have Mav here to support him. Investing 2 players on this tower side hold as Astro found himself gunned immediately last time he tried to hold tower. But Mav will get the call to rotate back to site. He had the Mira covering him so he wouldn't be gunned down in the process. And Faze fully rotating their way back. INTZ has brought out a roster change from their previous attacks on this site by bringing out the Hibana instead of the Thermite. That's going to give them a bit more flexibility, especially depending on where they chose to push. But this Valcam could prove pivotal, as it has not been spotted out by the players of INTZ until just then. But they have all the intel on how INTZ will want to push. Astro being called back into the tower, potentially going for some peaks or runouts, but there is a player up in tier 3, likely hoping to cut down the Jaeger as he works his way to tier 2. But he's not even going to, as he's just going to run out from the door. He'll see one player get the kills and just run his way back in. Boar will be there to trade him out, but the Jackal and your only set of smokes on INTZ are gone. And that's also going to slow down the push from INTZ, as they now only have half the round to go. They're going to have to change up their strat. Boar will land a couple shots. No, he'll actually not land anything. But Duds will get a kill onto Mav. If that kill had gone the way of INTZ, this could have been a pivotal position for them to be in, as this would now have been a 2v5. But Boar just unable to land enough shots onto Cameraman playing in the attic. Ion, once again, playing this aggressive take on the big window. We saw him get 2 kills here last time INTZ had to push in. We'll see if he can replicate any of his success. As the members of INTZ, while they do have the man advantage, seem to be very spread out for their push, as they're now lost their smokes. EMPs will ring out to try and clear out any ADSs or remaining utility or cameras on the side of Faze. And one player will just jump through, INTZ getting a free kill, getting another onto the diffuser. It's a 3v2 now for Faze. 20 seconds left. INTZ has full control of the diffuser. He's going to set up a gas canister to prevent any jump-ins from the big window. This round is likely Faze's way. Cameron will pop up to get one more kill, and Yuno will get the final kill onto Duds. He's not even going to have a chance to try and clutch out that round, and Faze will take map number 1 on Oregon. Another impressive comeback. For the Latin America team has proven themselves so effective on those kind of comebacks on Oregon. Map 1 goes the way of Faze Clan. Next map is Clubhouse, I believe. So, the cast went pretty well. I'm not actually feeling that tired, so I'll do the next map, and then I'm going to call it. Thank you, Glennis, for the kind words in chat. Like I said on the previous stream, the mic was 2 days out, but I didn't want to miss getting a chance to cast the first BR6 game live. And I'll hopefully be casting most of them live with this mic from now on. I hope the sound quality is a lot better. Let me know if there's any tweaks that I need to make, as this is my first time using this mic. But yeah. And as always, give me any feedback you might have on my casting, sound quality, stream quality, anything of the like, as I am just trying to improve. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. We're now going to be going on to the next map, Clubhouse. This was Faze's map pick, and INTZ's only shot at getting some points in this matchup, as Faze winning the first map will bring INTZ with only the potential of walking away with 1 point should they win out on this map. Ban Faze coming out for INTZ first, as they're going to be on the defensive half. A Maverick ban, nothing surprising on Clubhouse. Maverick is just so good at opening up the entirety of that map, especially on those upstairs sites, but he can even deny impact tricking on the kitchen hatch or poke holes in church should the attackers gain a lot of control. So Maverick is definitely an operator you want to remove if you want to make your defensive life significantly easier. We've seen players like Kanto be so aggressive and so effective with the Maverick on this map. Another Nomad ban from Faze, as they seem to be adamant on making sure that their fluid style of defense is fully remaining in effect. We saw how useful it was for them on Oregon. They were able to rotate around the map freely. Echo ban, also not surprising from Faze, while they didn't elect to ban Echo on the previous map. An Echo ban on Club is not just very common, but an Echo ban in general tends to be Faze's default ban. Mirror ban coming out from the side of INTZ will leave Maestro on the table. Nothing too crazy on the defensive bans on this set, and nothing crazy on the attack bans either. Thermite and Hibana will both be available, making a lot of these attacks more favorable, as will the Thatchers, so they don't have to worry about bandits or Kaeds or mutes on walls like the server, or on the hatches in the case of Kaed. As we now see the top floor being held first by the members of INTZ. Unfortunately, I can't tell you which part of the top floor is. I don't speak Portuguese, and I don't know the room names in Portuguese, but we'll find out soon enough. An Alibi being brought out first round by Duds as he's 6 picks into it. We've seen a lot of Alibi play on Clubhouse from just about every team. Chaos and G2 have ran a lot of Alibi on these top 4 roams in Pro League. We've seen teams like Disrupt love the Alibi on these top 4 holds as well. And it makes a fair amount of sense. While Alibi may not bring the most obvious utility in the form of, say, a roamer like Jaeger, or the most potent fragging power in the roamer like Vigil, who can also deny the intel, making droning him out harder. Alibi is so good at forcing the attackers to shoot through her decoys and make them very scared to ingress on these cache holes due to the sheer number of windows and positional cover that she could place her decoys around. In addition, the Bailiff is going to allow for a lot of useful soft destruction on the floor, as well as we can see the top of that cache wall. So now impact tricking can come in, which again, Alibi has. So her kit being very well fleshed out combos well with a gadget that, while it takes a fair amount of creativity to use, does force the attackers to be a bit more wary with their shots. And being wary with your shots in a game like Siege can prove detrimental. Faze Clan electing to bring a good amount of destruction in general, having both hard breaches, very common on attacking these sites, as well as Buck and soft breach in the form of Astro. First pick of the round will go to Ion, as he will land a early kill onto Yuke. That's the Jaeger off the board. His utility will have been preset, but that gun and that roam presence of Yuke is all gone, as Astro will get a kill onto Drunks, putting Faze into a very early advantage on a 5v3. They know the position of this Alibi, as they've called in Cameraman, and he will crouch to put down that thermite charge, denying a potential impact trick. A good read from Faze Clan to know that INTZ is looking to impact that wall will mean they'll still be able to open up the cache wall, forcing duds on the Alibi to pull back even further. Now, we've seen duds play a lot of aggressive positions, such as the top of Tier 3 on the previous map, to great success, but he won't even attempt this time as he falls all the way back down to sight. Astro gets a kill on the run out from Boar. Boar will bring his health down somewhat, but not enough. The Alibi proving to be effective as Duds gets to escape with his life entirely thanks to his decoy, but Intact gives away his life as he tries to capitalize on the information the Alibi provided. Astro with another kill in the round. Duds gets one, but is unable to connect another in a do-or-die situation. Faze getting the first attack on a clubhouse bedroom attack. A very clean execute from Faze as they slowly pinched out the roamers and got to just attack the site. INTZ tried to recover with some extremely aggressive plays, which is what you need to do in a 3v5 situation most of the time, especially against a team like Faze, who you know they're not going to get too cocky, they're not going to get too aggressive. You need to throw them off balance or they'll just be able to pinch you out just like they did. And unfortunately, none of those aggressive plays really bore fruit, and man count continued to fall for the side of INTZ. We'll see if they elect to hold this bedroom again. Unlikely, and indeed they'll go down to Arsenal and Church this time, realizing that their top floor hold not having the success they wanted, and Drunks will now be getting onto the Qaid to hopefully slow down Faze's ingress. Faze does have the Thatcher available, so the Electro Claws, unless they're tricking, will be taken care of very quickly. But they're just trying to buy some time, and the shotgun DMR, if that is what Drunks elected to run, will allow the Qaid to contest some very long angles with that ACOG and give some extra reconstruction of the site, so that Intact doesn't have to do all the work by himself with the smoke shoddy. And indeed, he's going to be running the shotgun DMR, as it has been affectionately dubbed, with that ACOG. Drunks, though, all the way off in Garage. He'll be able to pull right back down to sight. Duds playing in blue with the Jaeger. Another very common position. He has got his ADSs set up, and the spreading out of utility here could really work out in INTZ's favor. Thatcher only has 3 EMPs, so he'll have to dedicate them either to clearing out the ADSs that Duds is going to rely on, getting rid of the Electro Claws of Drunks, or dealing with Yuke's bandit batteries that are likely positioned on Church Wall. Boar and Yuke, though, are extremely aggressive up here on the bar and the stairs, as Boar will get the call to fall back, but Yuke, if his position hasn't been droned out, and actually it doesn't seem like it has, as Mav not getting aggressive, which is working out to both his favor and to his detriment. And oh no, the drone doesn't seem to have realized the bandit, but he will spot out the bandit as the bandit tries to rotate away. And what could have been a free kill from Yuke no longer is one, as he just rotates away. Now, we don't have access to sound on this stream, so it is likely that perhaps he realized Mav heard him shuffling about, should the bandit have been doing so, and that would have been a free kill for Astro from that soft wall. Half the round has ticked by as Faze is finally starting their ingress from the main stairs, and Mav running those breaching charges to open up the kitchen. Kitchen hatch is now going to be attempted to be removed by Yuna, and it doesn't look like there's any electroclaw tricking or impact tricking, so kitchen hatch will be opened up for maybe not free, as I believe an impact was used to clear out the electroclaw or potentially that breach charge. But nevertheless, it will get opened up now as the call for more EMPs comes out. Cameraman getting the first kill onto Drunks from the Moto hatch. That is the Kaid off the table, peeking aggressively on that Moto hatch, and an essential pick for Faze as they have 45 seconds left. They needed to start getting some kills, and indeed they will, as Mav gets another kill onto Boar from the Arsenal hatch. Hibana holes coming out in church will make the position of this Jaeger significantly harder, as Intact now will have to find himself in an extremely difficult position. He sees one player, but landing the shots onto Intact puts Faze at an even greater man advantage. The Jaeger will be able to get one kill onto Ion, shutting down the Bucks' advance from Blue, and he sees a player coming out of dirt. Duds getting another kill. Can he go for a third? No, Mav will be there to shut him down. But Yuke is able to push up, deny the plant, but he will be shut down by Astro himself. Faze taking another attack onto Clubhouse. Up 2-0, attacking Club, an excellent position to find themselves in, as now, even if they lose the next 4 rounds on Club, a 4-2 split on a Clubhouse attack, not a bad place to be in, considering how defensive favored Clubhouse can get, especially with Mav being removed from the table, as he's about the main attacker who just opens up the sights in the attacker's favor. His removal spells difficulty for the attack, but Faze, undaunted by these bans, continues to press the advantage. Every round they get from here on out is just icing on the cake. INTZ will elect to go back to the basement hold. They're going to have to tighten up a fair bit here. They're dropping the Kaid for the mute. And not a lot of kills coming out from INTZ, which is part of why they're low on the scoreboard. However, that's not entirely due to poor fragging capability, as we've seen all of these members able to show up when needed, but rather poor positioning has led to just early picks from the side of Faze. The kind of gunfights that INTZ has been putting themselves into have never been to their advantage. And as the members of their team get pinched one by one, the other members have to get extremely aggressive to try and pull something back. And Faze, methodical as they are, do not allow that to get the better of them, explaining the scoreboard difference between the two teams. INTZ, if they're looking to hopefully take the next few defensive rounds, is going to want to tighten up a bit. The aggressive roams and new looks they are going for, not having anywhere near the same success they had on Oregon. As Duds will be droned out at the top of Garage. Ion knows he has Garage control. He will peek in, hoping to get a kill onto that Jaeger, but Duds will smartly rotate, but not all the way down. He's actually still just in the closet. As he'll start to retreat, and he'll go, no, he won't even retreat all the way into Blue. This could be a early pick for the side of Faze. Duds, realizing how dangerous his position is, will finally rotate away, not allowing Faze to get a free kill onto the Jaeger, as Ion will start to roll frag grenades in to clear out some of this utility, taking care of the barbed wire. He's likely going to be unable to deal with duds himself behind that ventilation rack, as ADSs will be there to help the Jaeger, and those are unlikely to get cleared right now unless the Thatcher gets called in for a rotate or stun grenades on the side of Faze are utilized, or even lifelines. So he has the utility to clear it, but we'll see if he actually elects to. Likely a camera setup in blue, as well as we saw Boar nearby to give Duds the support he needs. Hatch getting removed, and it doesn't look like any impact tricking. In fact, it might have been a missed impact trick. Astro getting the first kill of the round onto INTZ. That's the smoke off of the board. A very pivotal pick. Once again, coming in for Faze right when they need it, as they have 50 seconds left for this execute. And removing the smoke, and a player so confident on the role as Intact has shown himself to be, is pivotal for Faze, as Ion will now be tasked with at least locking down this Jaeger, if nothing else. The two of them will be in a stalemate here, seeing who's going to peek out first. Astro, meanwhile, has worked his way all the way down the main stairs. Duds will land the kill onto Ion, winning out that engagement, but not without losing a lot of his health in the process. Boar will land a kill onto Yuna, as Cameraman and Mav will each get a kill of their own. Fazecan finding themselves in a 3v2 with 10 seconds left on the round, but Drunks will get a pick onto Mav. Cameraman, 6 seconds to go. He's going to have to cover for Astro as he goes for the plant. And it looks like the plant will be successful. No, Duds will actually be there to deny the plant from above. Cameraman gets one kill onto Drunks, but it's to no avail, as Duds, with a good rotate through kitchen, gets the one kill that matters for INTZ, putting them back in this match at a 2-1. Faze ultimately just falling short on the execute and running low on time. They had the man advantage as they went for the plant, but the low time meant they couldn't get in the post-plant positions that they quite wanted. And as a result, they had to just commit to a dangerous plant that could be denied here from Hatch. And the plant was nearly done, as we saw on the timer there. It looked to be at just about a millisecond or two left, and nevertheless, Duds getting that kill right when he needed to. Had he been any later on that, that could have easily been a Faze round, as plant would have gone down. Astro likely still would have been gunned, but Cameraman got the pick he needed, putting himself in a 1v1. Jaeger dropping the hatch. He would have had all the intel he wanted in the world to get that last kill. INTZ will now elect to go for their first server and cache side hold. Considering how expansive INTZ has been with their holds, we will likely see a lot of Rafters presence. Most teams will elect to put a fair amount of utility on Rafters, as it can be pivotal in holding a round, but at the same time, there are many teams that have lately elected to just give up garage control early on, as the amount of utility they might lose in the process doesn't always seem to be worth it, despite how defensive favored it can be peeking through these holes, especially with an ACOG such as what you have available to the Maestro or the Doc, who can play up here with sustainability. Those ADSs are going to be his primary source of defense. However, the Thatcher EMPs can once again clear them out pretty effectively, and this Capitao could even be used to clear, but he'll actually be charged with not even preventing bandit tricking, although perhaps FaZe wasn't aware of a potential 6-pick to a bandit, which might explain the Capitao bolt that is typically used to deny a bandit trick on the side of INTZ. It looks like we're going to have a bedroom side take, as FaZe looks to push in from the construction side. Cameraman tasked with taking down this construction wall before pushing into cache. He has pinged out the wall, but he's not actually done anything. Duds will get the first kill of the round onto Ion. That's the buck, and your only set of frag grenades gone for FaZe. And bedroom control is still not in their favor. Judge showing up on playing these difficult one-man positions has really been what's keeping INTZ in this match as a whole, both on Oregon and Clubhouse. Duds has been phenomenal, as Astro will open up the wall between sites, forcing Yuke into a very difficult position, and Astro will be there to connect the kill. Cameraman gets another kill onto Duds, and the man advantage that INTZ had is now completely gone. Cameraman is extremely low on health, so he could get picked off here shortly, as Astro spots out the Maestro and will be contesting the Maestro in the server. A quick peek from the side of Intact has no luck, as Mav will be there to shut him down, but Cameraman there to shut down Mav will keep INTZ in this round. Astro just proving to be a complete nuisance on this balcony as he gets another kill for himself onto the Maestro. Yuna getting the final kill on the round, and Faze guaranteeing themselves an even split on the half could spell disastrous for INTZ, as they're now going to be going in hoping to get a at least 4-2 split on the attack if they want to get 2 points in this matchup. And we all know how difficult attacking Clubhouse can be. INTZ so far only successful on that basement hold, as they're really going to have to reassess their strategy here to hold the rest of the map. And it looks like a tactical timeout might have been called. I'm not entirely certain, but the players will be communicating with one another. No tac timeout, but the players are taking the time to communicate with one another, figuring out how exactly they need to hold. INTZ having lost a lot of the energy they were displaying earlier in the matchup, as they find themselves heavily on the back foot on this Clubhouse defense. Astro will be subbed in to the IQ instead of the Zofia, where he found himself so successful before, likely getting called in to remove a lot of the utility from below, or just give more information to the side of Faze Clan, as they want to deny the intel that Boar has with this Valkyrie. Duds once again parkouring his way. Both times he elected to set up all of his Maestro cameras in the rafters. Now, these Maestro cameras are extremely difficult to remove, but should Faze not elect to go for a garage clear again, I have to question the sheer use of utility on the garage side from the Maestro. One camera definitely makes sense, as it will provide the Maestro with a lot of intel he can play off of on the rafters. But 2 cameras feels like a risky investment when your enemy isn't even pushing from the garage side. Although perhaps that is INTZ's game, as they want to make Faze completely unincentivized to push from that side and hope that they can hold out better. But this is going to be a full send from Faze through the server wall. Easy kills for the side of INTZ, as that rush has no success. That's going to be a lockout. INTZ gifted a free round from Faze, as they just went for a charge through the server wall. It led to nothing. Duds getting a lot of free kills here. Intact there to pick up a few of his own. And Yuna getting shut down by Boar at the end. Faze realizing they're up 3-2. They're already happy with this half. May as well try something crazy and fun. And INTZ is going to also be feeling a bit happy after that round. They'll know that was gifted to them, but nevertheless, a fun lockout like that is still a fun lockout. It's going to bring a bit of some smiles to both teams, as, yeah, that was just a fun round for them. Not much to analyze there. Faze deciding to get crazy with it. It didn't work out, but they had fun doing it, and it looks like INTZ enjoyed the gift from Faze Clan, bringing smiles to both teams' faces. However, we now get to go back down to this basement site, typically the most defensible site. INTZ is going to be running the Pulse this time instead of the Valkyrie. They've read into Faze, really liking this kitchen side take, and they're hoping that the intel of the Pulse will prove more useful than the Valkyrie for slowing down said take. They will have 3 Nitro Cells on their side thanks to the Mute, the Bandit, and the Pulse, so we could see a lot of C4 play on that kitchen floor. Cameraman being called in to quickly open up the dirt tunnel will likely then be called to rotate. His other exothermic charge most probably being used on the church wall, but they are going to leave dirt tunnel open as a potential avenue and make INTZ worry about it. It looks like a drone caught one of the defenders of INTZ rotating up to the server and cache side. That intel could prove extremely useful to FaZe as they are electing to go for a full top floor clear, knowing that INTZ has invested in their own presence. Mute jammers are going to make the droning a little bit harder, but nothing too crazy as Astro continues to drone his teammates in before jumping in himself. Jackal pings coming out on one player will also help INTZ or FaZe as they know exactly the position of duds. That's the easiest kill that Astro has gotten in a long time. A free kill for FaZe will put them at an early man advantage. Duds just off on an island and getting completely pinched out by good droning from the side of FaZe. Nothing much he could have done there, and it'll cost FaZe a player. Intact, though, getting an early kill onto Mav as he tries to push his way in through dirt tunnel, will even out the man count, and they will have lost their Thatcher, making a potential church wall take even harder as we saw the bandit battery set up to deny just that. Moto Hatch has been opened up by the Thermite, so he'll elect to not use any of his charges now on that church wall, as the Hibana will finally be positioning to take care of this kitchen side hatch. Once again, it doesn't look like there's any impact tricking coming out from the side of INTZ. Astro will now work his way in through dirt. He's going to likely be in a confrontation with the smoke shortly here, which could easily settle the fate of this round. Gas canister is going to ring out to slow down Astro's push, as he's just going to want to waste the time of the Zofia, making sure he can't just push into sight as the rest of the execute is going down and significantly hurt INTZ's hold in the process. Pulse will give the information that a player has dropped Moto, and Yuna is going to be brought down extremely low on health, but he is on site. Plant is going down for FaZe. Intact will get a kill onto Yuna. Yuke following up with another onto Astro. Cameraman will get the trade onto Intact, as it's now up to him to go for the plant, but there's only 3 seconds left. Mav is going to have to cover all by himself. And Yuke just managing to sneak the shot onto Cameraman despite the coverage from Mav will win out the round from INTZ. They will draw even on this defensive split. Not necessarily great for a clubhouse defense, but not the worst position they can find themselves in the world. They now know that they just need to replicate FaZe's own success on the attacks and just push it a little bit further if they want to have a shot of winning this match. FaZe, though, is going to be feeling mighty happy with their performance that half, as they now only need to win 4 defenses to win outright and get 3 points. And 3 defenses will guarantee them 2 points. FaZe electing to not go for anything crazy on this first defense, as they will go immediately to the basement site, unlike what we saw from INTZ, who went to the bedroom first and foremost. The players of INTZ really starting to show up on the scoreboard after only having 4 kills through 3 rounds, I believe. Beginning of this match, we'll now have Duds leading the pack in the entire map as the top fragger with 9 kills. An impressive showing from Duds on both of these maps, has been what's keeping his team in the running and standing a chance against Faze clan. Faze, though, while maybe not being crazy on their site preference, have elected to put a heavy emphasis on the roam, putting one player into the rafters. And another player looks like he was in the bathrooms. That was the pulse of Mav. Potentially reading into this, INTZ is just going to have Dud start sneaking his way down the main stairs, knowing that the site presence isn't that high right now. And should he be able to get one or two picks early on from the main stairs, it could spell disaster for Faze's hold, give INTZ the lead for the first time on the map. However, Mav has been called in to rotate, so he'll be able to give out this information on the position of Duds. He's going to prep a Nitro Cell. A very interesting impact hold Nitro Cell strategy. Will not achieve anything, but it was a good idea, actually. They were trying to get onto the top of the stairs, trying to utilize the information from the mute to their avail, and Kobe a Nitro Cell through the hole. Nevertheless, it'll backfire as Duds gets a kill onto Yuna. He'll take a lot of damage in that engagement with the Legion, but an early pick on the Legion will stop the production of those goo mines and give INTZ the man advantage. Duds is extremely hurt, and the C4 has been wasted from Mav, so he won't be able to capitalize on the player he sees in Kitchen. Unless he can call... No, there's no more Nitro Cells available on the side of Faze. So the Kitchen will be effectively forfeited, and they'll give away that hatch and that control to the side of INTZ. Instead electing to defend Church even further. Duds getting another kill. He's up to 11 kills in this match as he takes down Astro, the roaming player of Faze. 50 seconds left, and only 3 anchors left available to Faze clan, with both the Maestro and the Smoke heavily focused on this blue side hold. INTZ could potentially go in for a push from main stairs and Church if they are able to read this. However, they do have holes set up by Faze, so Ion can contest a potential Moto drop. But Drunks will get another kill onto Mav. Ion getting the first kill for Faze onto Yuke, and getting another onto Duds, bringing things into 3v2. Cameraman will get another kill onto Drunks, putting things in a 2v2. Intact, though, getting a kill onto Cameraman, will put Ion, the newest member of Faze, in a 1v2 situation, and he won't be able to connect a single kill. INTZ getting their first attack on the board and taking the lead for the first time in this match at a 4-3. That is what the members of INTZ needed if they had wanted to take home the win on this map, which is what they need to guarantee themselves their point. A unique strategy there coming out from the Pulse, but ultimately leading to a waste of utility as the player in that position had rotated off. It's something that likely would have worked a bit more in Faze's favor had Faze possessed another Nitro Cell. Then the Pulse could have just provided intel and let the other player know exactly when to throw out said Nitro Cell. Instead, Duds was able to easily run away and collect a kill in the process on Yuna's Legion. Faze not changing up too much as they go back downstairs, but instead of the Pulse, Mav is going to be swapping on to the Valk, providing more consistent intel, hopefully in the form of those Valkyrie cameras. Meanwhile, Astro has swapped onto the Qaid, as he'll likely be trying to shut down kitchen side pushes. The players of INTZ will quickly aggress into kitchen. They do want to get control of kitchen this time, hoping to open up that hatch, and Dud's likely trying to push down main stairs once more, and indeed that's his plan. He's going to take this nice and slowly, keeping an eye out for any cameras or goo mines set up to stop his ingress. As he'll now just hold this long angle down the hallway, shots will ring out, so the players of Faze are aware of Dud's position, prompting the sledge to have to pull back, not wanting to throw away his life to a free fire from the side of Faze. INTZ bringing the Ying this time to have a more explosive entry into sight. We saw the Ying work out to middling success for both teams on the previous map. Some rounds it was instrumental in the victory, and some rounds it didn't seem to accomplish much at all. The Kaid on the kitchen hatch will stall the opening for just a bit of time, as a Thatcher EMP will have to be used. It looks like the floor had also been opened up, so INTZ likely wanting to go for those impact tricks. They're going to want to drain as much utility from the side of INTZ as they can on that kitchen hatch, and waste as much time as possible before that hatch gets opened up, as once the hatch opens up, a lot of your arsenal hold has to reposition, as it becomes a lot harder to just sit down and anchor in, and it provides attackers with a very clean avenue into sight to go for a plant. However, 2 minutes have gone down, and not a lot has occurred between either side. Duds has taken a bit of damage, likely from a goo mine, but other than that, both teams are taking it slow. This could prove disastrous for INTZ, as the impact tricks will come out and prevent the church wall from being opened up. Astro, proving himself exceptional on those plays, will have to force Boar to make a crouched level thermite. Boar, seemingly confused, will get killed by Mav despite seeing the Valkyrie for quite a bit of time. As INTZ's attack is completely stalled out, Duds will die as well, and Faze will find themselves in a 3v5. Yuk will get the first trade onto Astra, those Yin Candelas ringing out as he now attempts to go for the plant himself. Yuno's going to jump out, but be gunned down by Drunks. Cameraman gets a kill onto Yuk, but Diffuser will be planted, leaving Drunks in a 1v2. It's up to Ion and Cameraman to win this round out again, but this time the numbers are on their side, as Cameraman will hold Ion's rotate up. Drunks rotating all the way over to Moto, but Disable is going down from the side of Ion. Are the members of INTZ aware? No, they are not. And Faze paying back INTZ for the sneak defuse that was pulled against them on Oregon will get their first defensive round, tying things up at a 4-4. INTZ, despite stalling out on their attack, are once again proving themselves exceptional at getting these plants down. It's ultimately the post plant that has come to really bite them, in addition to just losing mans early on in the executes. And not having a ton of manpower means that even though they get these plants off, their post-plant coverage tends to be fairly poor nevertheless, and at a man deficit. Drunks choosing to rotate off of the stairs, also costing INTZ the round, as Ion quickly pushed up and began disabling before INTZ had any real awareness. It's likely they were expecting the members of Faze to take that a bit more cautiously. Perhaps a call out had been made on how low the smoke was on health, so INTZ knew the position of both the Maestro and the smoke, knew how slow the Maestro would be on pushing and that he was likely to provide the overwatch, and as a result, they didn't expect Ion to be so daring on his cross based on the low health of the smoke. Either way, the round has been lost, and Faze will now go up to a cache server side hold. If they want to swing the momentum back in their favor, they're going to want to have to take this round and take the lead once more away from INTZ, which which is a very, very accomplishable task considering how easy it is to defend a lot of these sites. Cameraman actually on the Jaeger instead of Astro, a role that typically is reversed between these two players, as he's going to be on the logistics bedroom side trying to stop an ingress from construction. INTZ are aware of his position, as they'll drone out and hope to clear him shortly. Cameraman takes a bit of damage, prompting a full rotate all the way down to the basement from the Jaeger, as Yuno will actually be the one playing in the rafters, with the goo mines set up to slow down the pushes from INTZ. Cameraman, expecting a push from Jacuzzi, will poke a hole into dirt, but will not spot out any player as he'll rotate right back in. Astro, as we saw, was on the bandit trick, which has wasted the Thermite's time as he continues trying to bait utility and will get gunned as his foot just narrowly getting exposed to Astro. That's Diffuser and the Thermite down. He was able to detonate his charge before then, but a kill was also landed by Yuna onto the sledge, putting INTZ at a significant man disadvantage with 1 minute left in the round. Astro's going to be holding the top of these cash stairs, which is going to greatly hurt any pushes in from server side. Ion, meanwhile, in charge of holding down the construction side push, and he'll land a beautiful one tap onto Drunks. That's the Hibana off the board. Astro getting another onto Intact, putting Yuke in a 1v5 with the Ying. He'll throw out a Candela. It will blind the smoke, but a gas canister coming out will prevent Yuke from being able to do much of anything, as Astro gets tagged in to get a third kill onto the Ying. Faze Clan goes up 5-4. Just poor awareness of that dronal from the side of INTZ will cost them their Thermite and put them at a huge man disadvantage early on. Once again, not a lot of good roam clear coming out from the side of INTZ, as they weren't able to ever pinch out Cameraman. And while Cameraman may not have been influential on the round, he did slow down a lot of the ingress from the members of INTZ. And again, they're having to attack the site with these man disadvantages due to poor play at the beginning of the round. Yuke will bring out the glass, hoping that the change-up will give INTZ a bit of an edge instead of the Ying, as the bedroom defense will need to come out from the side of Faze. We have not seen a bedroom defense be successful from either team thus far, but we've also not seen Faze elect to run it. The castle coming out is nothing too surprising. He tends to be an almost must pick for a lot of teams if they want to hold on to this site. You might be seeing Astro, based on the positioning of that castle barricade, once again going for a bandit trick on that Jacuzzi wall. However, such a play could prove extremely risky, as Duds has swapped onto the Zofia. He's cooled off a bit on the past few rounds, being held at 11 kills. But nevertheless, that Zofia is able to quickly demolish those castle barricades and get a nice long angle onto the player trying to bandit trick. However, if a deployable shield has been set up as well, in addition to ADSs, then there might just not be enough utility between the frag grenades of the sledge and the Zofia's lifelines to actually clear out the bandit. And indeed, it looks like Astro is tricking. EMP is going to ring out, and his position was compromised. Good Jaeger tricking actually also on the side of Yuna, as the two German operators will be there to just support one another. Flashbangs go out to burn out the ADSs so that they can start to remove the utility that has been set up to protect the bandit on his tricking. But there is another ADS in play. It'll still actually be up, as the Thermite used up all three of his flashbangs. This setup from Faze is completely slowing down INTZ's push as they're not entirely sure how to open up the Jacuzzi wall. Another EMP is going to go out, and it'll take care of one bandit battery, but there's still 2 more available to the side of Faze. Actually, 3 more, with 1 in the pocket of Astro. A bit of a misthrown EMP there, as it wasn't able to get both of them. Final EMP coming out from the Thatcher, and Astro able to once again save his battery, as he'll just have 2 and no more EMPs available for the side of INTZ. However, the Sophia charges will force Astro off of the trick. But the Bandit wasting 2 whole minutes and so much utility on that Jacuzzi wall will prove extremely in the favor of Faze Clan, as INTZ once again finding themselves with little time on this execute. They do, however, have not a man advantage, but they do have the manpower that they've lacked otherwise. But they haven't cleared any of the map. As we just saw, Faze invested a lot of slowdown on the cache side as well, and ultimately didn't even matter, as I believe 4 members of INTZ were called in just to hold that Jacuzzi wall. Intact will get the first kill of the round as Plant starts to go down with 15 seconds left. Smoke has been taken out. Yuke getting another kill, and Plant's actually going to be successful. Astro, extremely hurt, will be able to get 1 onto the sledge. Can he land another shot? No, Boar will be there to shut him down, leaving Mav and Cameraman in a 2v4 situation. The Meister is able to land 1 and 2 onto Cameraman. Another unfortunate team kill coming out, as the Mav will have to find himself in a 1v3. He'll land another onto the glass, putting himself in a 1v2 situation. This is winnable, as the 2 members of INTZ are spread out. He knows the position of 1 on the Jacuzzi wall, and he's going to try and start to long-arm this diffuser. Position is compromised, and Boar will be there to shut him down. INTZ will tie things up 5-5, and this map will also be going the distance. INTZ, once again proving that while they may not have the best luck online, they are formidable in this LAN environment, going toe-to-toe with Faze Clan, bringing every single one of these matches down to the very last round. Faze, they don't want to be locked at just 1 point, are going to be looking to close out these next 2 rounds. And this round, once again, will be a pivotal round, as the first team to hit 6 points is the first team to guarantee a map win. However, Faze will now be able to go back to their primary bomb site down below, in addition to being able to go up to cache afterwards, thus giving them a not to be underestimated advantage against INTZ. INTZ is going to have to make something work on these sites that they failed to attack before. They did win the first attack, but it was a messy attack onto Arsenal that really had more to do with Faze getting too aggressive than anything else. After Faze tightened up and stopped wasting as much utility, INTZ has struggled with this basement attack. Duds still being halted at 11 kills, as I believe Astro is now the one at 12 kills, top fragging in the map. Duds finding a lot of success in the earlier rounds has really cooled off as he's been on the Sophia roll. INTZ is going to be relying on Duds to come back alive if they want to have any hope of taking this map off of Faze. Worried about the extensive roams that Faze was employing before, INTZ is going to make sure they drone out everything. And a good call from INTZ, but it is going to cost them a significant portion of time. Still, against Faze, you can never be too sure how much of a roam presence the Latin American team players are bringing. And Astro, as opposed to Bandit tricking Church Wall, will be Kaid tricking Church Wall. In addition to his impacts, he'll have a lot of utility available to stop any potential hard breach on the church wall. A good Maestro camera setup will give any intel on a moto drop, which is what INTZ seems to be setting up for. Astro will throw out his one Electro Claw, so we'll wait to see if he chooses to pick it up, as one player of INTZ has actually dropped into moto. That is the Glass, who's likely going to get himself smoked in here shortly, so he can push in and try and clear out Church. Now, Maestro Cam is set up, so that's going to hurt the Glasses push through the smoke heavily. As Mav will get the first kill of the round onto Boar. Yuke will be there to trade it off onto the Mav, so the Valk is off the board. As Yuke now has the Church control that he wanted, but he does not have blue control. He'll shoot out a gas canister. Astro, though, getting a kill onto Intact and Ion, taking the head of the Glass. Duds finally getting another kill onto Ion before being traded off by Cameraman, leaving Drunks in a 1v2 once again on this site, but this time he does not have Diffuser and Plant has not been accomplished. Good positioning from the side of Astro and Cameraman to just play the Diffuser. Pings will come out, and that's a free kill for Cameraman if there ever was one. And Faze will hit match point first, going up 6-5, guaranteeing themselves 2 points in this match. They're going to be looking to get all 3, though, as they go up to Cash Server for their final defense. Not a whole lot to say about that round. Once again, it's just running up against time, having to go for a messy execute, and losing players to these unique setups that have been designed from Faze to just burn utility. They got the pick on the Thermite with a nice C4 over Church Wall, and Church Wall was never opened as a result. Or if it was, it came at the cost of the Thermite. I can't remember off the top of my head. Either way, Faze has been excellent at just burning INTZ's utility. And even when INTZ starts to go for the executes, while we saw you get one kill with the Glass, he couldn't capitalize on anything else. And ultimately, that put INTZ in an extremely difficult position. The members of Faze really all showing up, while Astro has 12 kills. His teammates aren't far behind with 9 and 9 apiece. Once again, Faze electing to not run the ACOG and Rafter setup, instead leaving the Legion to be sufficient in holding down Rafters. His Goo Mines do make it extremely painful for any attackers that ingress into the site, and also will stop INTZ from running the Monty strat we saw for a while on Garage Takes. It's kind of faded away across the regions. I think APAC still likes to run it, but we definitely saw the Monty pushing up Rafters strat to start to fade away, in large part because of how effective Legion is at dealing damage to the Monty, and then with good smoke cohesion, a Monty could be killed out pretty quickly should he choose to push up Rafters and get that control. Even if he got 1 or 2 picks in the process, he'd typically always be left on next to no health. Be an easy cleanup for the defenders later in the round. Nevertheless, INTZ, they're not going to be running the Monty. We haven't seen the Monty on that push in LATAM in a while, to my knowledge, but nothing too crazy. They will bring Drunks on the Buck, though, to force the players out of the position. Astro, so successful on that wall previously, will not be this time, but Cameraman gets the first kill of the round onto Duds. Will not be able to find the scoreboard again in this match. He had an impressive first half, but has struggled a lot more on this attacking side, and it has been hurting his team. Cameraman tries to get another on his roam and will bring Yuke down to 10 health, but will be shut down by the Ying. However, that's intel very likely relayed to the rest of his teammates, and a single goo mine on the board could prevent this Ying from getting anything off. So an excellent amount of damage, but it won't matter as much as Drunks lands a nade right into the rafters. Yuna never stood a chance. That's the Legion out of here. 40 seconds left, though, for INTZ to start their execute. They do have the man advantage, so things are looking good for them. But with only 30 seconds on a site like Cash, things could get dire, especially with how low Yuke is on health, and the smoke still being on the board, and any remaining goo mines being a real threat to that Ying. Second gas canister will go out, leaving the smoke with his final one with 15 seconds left to go. There is a C4 ready, which will ring out and potentially get a kill. No, Astra, though, will get a kill onto Drunks, as Yuke will start throwing out his Candelas, but Mav, unblinded, will just push in. Astra gets one onto Boar. Intact gets one onto Mav, and Diffuser will never go down as INTZ just runs out of time despite having the man advantage. Faze Clan takes map number 2 by another 7-5 scoreline, and that's 3 points, putting them, to the best of my knowledge, at the top of the BR6 standings as of when this match occurred. A good showing from both teams, as INTZ, despite being lower in the standings in Pro League, has definitely shown themselves as a capable team in this LAN environment, able to hang in with FaZe, just missing out on a few rounds here and there that have gone either way. But FaZe, bringing out very unique and interesting looks that were just designed to consistently burn the utility of the attackers, and the defenders will ultimately prevail in that matchup. That does it for my cast today. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I had a lot of fun casting FaZe versus INTZ. This will be exported to my YouTube shortly hereafter, so you can watch it there later. I'll probably redo NiP vs Red Devils. I know none of you have actually seen that, but I was very unhappy. I haven't actually watched the second map, but I have watched the first map. I know the scorelines on both maps too. But I think people still would enjoy a cast of those. It's a fun map if you're a NiP fan. Spoilers. But yeah, I was very unhappy with my original cast. Lower quality mic, obviously, there too, but I was coughing and kind of sick when I did that VOD myself. So I will redo that one. That'll be up on YouTube at some point. I might do it live like I did for FaZe here. I'm not sure. I will be here Sunday to cast the other BR6 games, which we can actually take a look at what those are going to be, as I'm sure people are curious. And it's going to be FaZe and Red Devils and NiP versus Pain on Sunday. Maybe not the closest matchups, as both Red Devils and Pain have definitely struggled in this season, but we've seen BR6 and LAN and Pro League be very different in both directions, as we just saw with that INTZ match where they kept pace with FaZe, and they are definitely in there. There's a reason INTZ is number 3 in the BR6 standings, which we can see right here. Pain and Red Devils have been having a repeat of their performance in Pro League this season, but I wouldn't count them out, especially because Red Devils showed a different side of themselves in their matchup against NiP the other day. They didn't win, but they took that 7-5 on a map that they lost 7-1 in BR6 against the same team. We also saw Red Devils really start to grow in the end of the first half of Pro League, so could potentially come back. The roster swap really hurt. The roster changes really hurt them, it seems. But maybe we'll see them start to come back. Regardless, that does it for my cast. I hope you enjoyed. I had a lot of fun casting. As always, if you guys have any feedback for me, I'm reachable on Reddit. You can leave a comment on the YouTube VOD. You can message me on Twitch through a whisper. Either way, my messages are open, and I hope to hear from you guys. I want to know also what you guys think of this new mic, if the audio quality is better, if there's adjustments that I need to make. But yeah, as always, give me your feedback. I'm having a lot of fun casting. I know there's a lot I can work on. I have been stumbling on my words a couple times here and there, and I need to expand my vocabulary a bit. I wish I also was able to get more into effective play-by-play and analysis instead of having to split both of them, as I think it does hurt the level of the cast having to do both at the same time, but that is unfortunately the nature of the solo cast. But I have a lot I can improve on both the play-by-play and the analysis, especially the post-run analysis is where I tend to feel just a bit exhausted from casting the round and can't quite just feed the breakdown to you fast enough without really repeating myself. I've noticed that I've done that a lot. So whatever feedback you guys have for me to improve is greatly appreciated. Now that I have the new mic, I'm going to try and get a few more VODs and potentially apply for ESL Community Cast status as well. So you might see other games from other regions show up here. I would enjoy doing stuff like the USN qualifiers in the future, and I hope you guys will tune in to check those things out as well. I didn't get to mention before, but I really do appreciate all the follows and support you guys showed on my previous cast. Anyhow, I have dragged on for a while on this wrap-up. The match has been over for a while. I apologize. I said a lot, but, you know, that's why I'm casting. I like talking, I guess. As always, give me feedback. I hope you guys enjoyed. Adios.